weekly podcast hosted by Dr. Spike Cook, sharing stories, ideas, and information about the Millville Public School District in southern New Jersey. For more information or to connect with us, follow the hashtag MPSWC and like Millville Public Schools on Facebook. And when I grow up.
Good morning. This is the second Millville United podcast, hosted by myself, Spike Cook, and today's guest is the Supervisor of the Fine and Performing Arts, K-12, our own Henry Hartman. Welcome to the show, Henry.
Good morning. Thanks, Spike.
Henry, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing the different things that are going on in your area. But first, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to this point?
Well, it's kind of a funny story, but I knew I wanted to go into teaching at a very young age, and I knew I wanted to do music or math, and I wasn't sure where I was going to go. My dad swayed me towards math because he said, think about your old high school and think about how many music teachers and how many math teachers. I said, well, it makes a lot of sense. So I actually spent 9 years teaching high school math in Vineland. The position opened up over here, and I applied for it and was selected as a candidate. I've always had a background in music and drama and things like that. I can't draw to save my life. I'll be the first to admit that. But I love what I do. I love my job, and it's great to come to work every day.
So what was your interest in music? Did it start at a young age, and what were some of the trials and tribulations of getting into the music end of education?
Well, I was in chorus and band as early as I can remember. I started playing saxophone in 5th grade. I've been singing semi-professionally and as an amateur for a long time. We won't put any years attached to that. But the music and arts have always been a passion of mine. It's been difficult in years past because of budget cuts. That's always the first thing that people tend to look to eliminate. But we're here to fight for it and make sure that those programs stay around as long as the maths and the languages and everything else that the kids learn today.
Sure. Yeah, I think about my son who just got his first kit for he's doing percussion at his school.
Oh, God bless.
So he has his drum and he's got the vibes and had his first practice yesterday, and he's taking this rather large the whole kit is together. It looks like he's going on some sort of adventure. He's going to the airport, so he's dragging that up. And I was thinking about that as we came in today. Like when you say it really does start young. So if you could tell us a little bit about what you see going on here at the elementary levels, and then we'll kind of get up into the great things that are going on at the high school.
Yeah, we have a lot of new staff in the district due to retirements and people accepting other positions for promotions, things like that. So we're looking for the consistency again, trying to make sure everybody gets on the same page. But we have a lot of young blood, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement for the program. So I'm looking for a lot of great things over the next few years.
And I know that this is the season where a lot of the elementary schools are having the different music outlets come out and share. We just had that yesterday where they come and they play the different instruments so that kids can get exposed to it. And then the really interesting thing is that when you see the kids coming out of those sessions and they're telling you, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try the clarinet this year, or I want to try the drums, and it really is cool. And you talk about passion and the people who came to share that with the kids, they have such a passion for that. They're trying to get that next generation interested in music.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a forgotten art, because when the kids have Xboxes and PlayStations and things like that, to get them out of that comfort zone and into playing a trumpet or a clarinet or a saxophone, it's a different world for them. And a lot of kids don't have exposure towards those instruments. You might have a kid that's able to identify certain instruments, but a lot of them wouldn't be able to identify the sounds that it makes. So when a kid hears a French horn for the first time or a saxophone, a lot of times it just takes them over and they're ecstatic about trying something new.
And it could be that exposure that starts them on that journey.
It could be. We know that kids all the way up through high school and into college, um, it's a family, and they hang around with the same people. You'll see this flock of kids that are in all classes together because they start out with bands and then they become friends in bands and then they carry through. I'm still friends with quite a few people that were in bands and choirs with me in college and high school.
That's awesome. And there's also a correlation too, I would think, when you look at, students who are going and taking, advanced courses or, just, the multiple intelligences and playing an instrument plays a big role in that.
Yeah, any of the membership with the related arts, whether it's an art or music, there are tons of studies that show that kids who are involved in those programs do better academically.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So, everybody out there, make sure that you're supporting our elementary schools. We have at least 2 concerts a year, our winter and spring concerts. So, it's a great experience. So, so then after they leave the elementary, and they've gotten exposure and they've taken some lessons and they're, and they've been playing the hot cross buns and things like that. How do you see the transition going into the middle school?
Well, I think it's one unifying factor because in our district, 6th grade is where all the elementary schools come together for the first time. So you are coming from a class of maybe 25, 30 kids as a 5th grader, now coming into a group of 400 to 500 as a 6th grader because now they're meshing with all the elementary schools. So sometimes the art and the music is one thing that binds them to get together. They know people that were in bands or they had classes with, so it's a common thread that carries them through middle school.
And the facilities at the middle school really lend itself to, taking it to the next level. I've gone, on some tours over there when our 5th graders are touring, and it's really neat because, it really is. It's starting to take them to that next level where you have, bigger performing areas and you have, different sound system, and everyone knows, like, one of our signature buildings, in this district, of course, the Performing Arts Center. So they start getting exposed to that. Do you think that's where maybe it starts to sink in with them that, this could be really, something that they could continue on with?
Well, I think it's in 6th grade when it becomes real for them, because now they're no longer practicing in closets or behind a curtain while a gym class is going on the other side.
Right.
It's a set space. They have state-of-the-art Wenger practice rooms over there. The facilities are gorgeous. The auditorium, of course, seats almost 1,500 people. So I think they get that first look at, wow, this is what performance truly is.
And then they go to Memorial and the senior high, and as we all know, I mean, just that whole high school experience opens up when they have, the different opportunities that are there, and probably a lot more performances, right? And then of course
Sure.
The just everything there is with the high school.
Sure, there's a lot more opportunities. There's opportunities for them to become more specialized. We have marching band at the high school level. There's percussion ensembles. There's music theory. So even if a student decides that playing or performing isn't their gig, they want to go the textbook route and learn more about the ins and outs of theory, they can do that. It's just a lot of wonderful opportunities. And the same thing for our art classes. They get to be more selective whether they choose to go for ceramics or to go into our AP art classes, which could really build them and prepare them well for college.
And I'm glad that you brought up the arts, because I didn't want this certainly be all about music today, but with your art program that you have K through 12, actually really P through 12, you do seem to have a really good relationship with the Millville community, and there's a lot of different events that happen through that. So how does that happen, and what are some things that are interesting that we could be looking out for this year?
Sure. Every year we at least do 2 exhibits at the Riverfront Renaissance Centers for the Arts on High Street. Those will be coming up in March and April in conjunction with their Third Friday programs. We have kids' work that's on display even at Culver Center. You get people downtown that say, I'd like to have this exhibit for my window or my storefront. And we have a lot of kids who put stuff together to go in storefronts downtown. So the opportunities for that also are endless. We've been contacted about doing murals in the city. They have a couple of buildings downtown that are vacate, and they want to have some things in the front windows so they don't look as bare when you drive up and down the streets. So just again, a lot of opportunities for the kids to be involved and showcase their artwork.
That's great. Yeah, we're looking to of course, go to the next level. We're able to secure an art room here, at Bacon this year. We have a lot of cool projects going on, and one of the things that I was interested in and looking to see if there's some art teachers that are looking to do this year, where you have sort of the virtual reality or the augmented reality going along with the art project, where a student can complete an art project. We could take a few minutes and just film them and put a little code in there, and then as somebody's looking and engaging with that piece of art, just using an iPad or an iPhone and just bringing that alive. And so I think there's so many interesting and cool things that can happen with integrating technology with both the arts and the music.
Yeah, we have a couple of our teachers use a program called Artsonia, which the teachers are able to upload the students' artwork into the computer, and then it goes online, and if people want to purchase a print or a copy, they can do that, and then some of the proceeds go back to the school and to their art program. So we're moving in that direction. The technology is a little tough because, like many situations similar to Bacon, our art teachers are traveling to all the different classrooms, so there's not a setup that is the same in each of the classrooms. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but we're working towards making that happen, making that a reality.
Yeah, and I think that there's, as we look to move forward, there's a lot of opportunity, I think, when you're looking at like the STEM and the STEAM initiatives, where I think you were getting at this earlier, where it really lends itself to like higher order thinking and critical thinking skills when you're looking at music and art. And I'm just excited that when you look at a child's experience now, and as we look at the whole, educating the whole child, that even that we've heard in a lot of our meetings that is becoming more popular, even though you would think that was something we should be doing, but focusing on test scores. So where do you see that going, as far as the arts and the music playing a role, as we're educating the whole child?
Well, and I think a lot of the administrators are seeing that change coming back around, where they really truly want to integrate the arts back into the program. Either programs are being cut, so they have to find another way of getting the arts and music back into the programs, or making use of the staff and the resources that they have to try and assist the learning for Common Core, etc. We're running a pilot program actually at Rick Avenue this year. We went to a training over the summer about integrating arts throughout the entire curriculum. So there's 2 or 3 teachers right now that went to the training and are implementing as much art and music as they can into their daily lessons. And then we're hoping to spread that so that we have grade level leaders, and then hopefully by the end of the year we have the entire school on board where they're integrating as much art, music, drama, theater into their everyday lessons as much as possible.
That's great. Yeah, could you talk a little bit more about that? Because you went to, was it Princeton University this summer to learn about this?
Yeah, we went to a 3-day workshop in Princeton. It was sponsored by the Geraldine Dodge Foundation and the Foundation for Educational Administration. And it was a great workshop. They had guest speakers come in that presented about music and art and just how to take each of the topics and integrate it into everyday lessons. And I always believe I don't want to push an entire program out and then watch it fail because it's not manageable. So we're starting out small. We started out with Rick Avenue just as a pilot school, try and work out whatever bugs we can, because if it's successful there, it is a program that I would like to roll out across the entire district at all 6 of our elementary schools.
That's great. Maybe that'll be a good topic for future podcasts for Millville
Sure.
United, where maybe we can get some folks from Rick that are piloting that and talking a little bit about the things that are going on. That would be great.
Sure, that would be awesome.
Because I know people are interested in that, and I remember, when you had shared your experience, and Dr. Robinson as well, I just thought it was really interesting how, you were able to spend that time and look at, how could we take this to the next level, and it's interesting because our city here is really known for the arts. There's a huge emphasis on it, and it's so, and it's just such a vibrant feeling when you can have kids and the teachers engaged. So you had said he has a couple new staff members this year.
Yes.
Would you like to introduce us to them and talk a little bit about how they're doing so far?
Sure. They're all doing fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
We had Nick Camerari, who was teaching in the district for 38 years, I believe. I think I was joking with him because that's as long as I've been alive. He's been teaching. But he actually decided to retire at the end of last year. And Erica Zeiters, who was at Lakeside at Memorial, she is now doing full-time instrumental over at Lakeside to take that position. So she is doing the 6th and 7th and 8th grade bands over there. Joe Sino, who is a Washington Township graduate and Rowan College graduate, Rowan University. He took Erica's position, so he is doing part-time at Lakeside with the general music, and then general music and instrumental music at Memorial. And then we have Beth Clearwater, who is here at Bacon. Maybe you could tell me a little bit more about how she's doing, but she's a breath of fresh air. She has the kids eating out of the palm of her hand already. So we're excited to see those new hires. We have a lot of great staff. A lot of communication is going on between our 6 elementary schools, which is something that I've strived to have since I was here, is that consistency and the collaboration that seemed to be lacking when I first arrived.
Well, when I think about Beth and I think about how she's been integrating into the school, I obviously I think she's doing a phenomenal job. What I think is most important to note is the district support that I've seen for her. So I haven't had a new member in the arts or music in a couple of years. So to see the support that you give as a district supervisor, and then how you've connected her with other music teachers throughout the elementary, it just shows that you understand what it's like to have a first year teacher, and it could be really tough. So we have the building level support, and then you have the district level support. So I just want to say thank you, because I really know it really takes a district to it takes a district to raise a teacher.
A new teacher, absolutely. Well, and we like to think that we have all the answers, but we don't. So that's why it does take that village, and you use your resources to the best of your ability. You use your coworkers' strengths and experiences so that the newer teachers don't make the same mistakes that they made. And that's why I think we are so successful in the arts, because we do have a collaborative group that work together and help each other out.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm excited about bringing back this year too is that we were able to build it into the schedule for Megan Peck, who's our art teacher, is our Paul's program, where we have students who are almost getting engaged in that 5th grade year of a little bit of like advanced art.
Okay.
So there's a lot of cool things going on, and I just want to thank you for that. So.
My pleasure.
So what do we have looking? What are we looking forward to the next couple months here? Do we have any? How's about the marching band or?
Well, we go year round. My predecessor Gene Tubertini figured out that we do something once every 3 days throughout the calendar year.
Wow.
So the department is always running. The marching band is doing a great job. They have 95 members this year. And I would say 10 years ago they had 15 kids on the field. So Rob DeSantis and his staff have done a great job in building up that program. They're doing a Beatles tribute. So if you hopefully get a chance to come out and see them at a football game or competition, we hope that you do that. We are one of the only schools in South Jersey that is still attending all of the away football games. So if we're not in Millville, come check us out at one of our football games.
That's interesting. So a lot of schools aren't bringing the band on the away trips?
A lot of them are not bringing full band. They're bringing a pep band that comes in, they play music in the stands, and that's about it. And unfortunately, it's another budget cut issue where that's one of the things that principals and district administration don't feel is necessary. But we're very supportive, and I have switched money around to do whatever we can to make sure that the transportation is there for our bands to perform at our away football games, as well as do all the competitions and community performances that they do during the course of the year.
That's great. So get a chance to go on the website and check out the football schedule, and then you'll be able to see the marching band. How can the public connect with you guys in the Fine and Performing Arts?
Well, if you go to Millville's homepage, under programs, there is a link to our calendar, which includes everything that we do during the course of the year that we know about in August. There's always events that pop up that our performing groups and our artists exhibit at, perform at. We are on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, and I'm still getting the hang of all this, but we're at Millville FPA for Fine and Performing Arts, or you can become our friends on Facebook for Millville Fine and Performing Arts.
That's great. I think that's an awesome way you're connecting with, because we see your posters all throughout the city of the upcoming events, and you have the website, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, so I think that's really great, and we really want to support that. So I'll make sure that I'll tweet those links out and provide those in the show notes for anyone, so that they can come out and engage with the Fine and Performing Arts.
And if you have an event that you'd like us to perform at or be around for, you can contact me. My email is henry.hartman@millvillenj.gov. My phone number is 856-327-6040, extension 2913. I think that's everything. But everybody knows how to get a hold of me. So.
Well, most of the way they get a hold of you, Henry, is that you go to every single school all the time.
I'm around. I don't like to sit at my desk too much.
If if you're listening and or watching, and our district supervisors are responsible for 11 different schools and various different programs, and they are literally everywhere at the same time. And as a building level person, that is really good, because I love to get that connection with the Culver Center and with administration. But and then how you're interacting with teachers, because you do walkthroughs on teachers who are not necessarily in your department, and observations and things like that. So we just really appreciate your support.
Thank you. My pleasure.
So I just want to thank everybody for listening today. Of course, this is Millville United podcast number 2 with Henry Hartman. You can follow him on Twitter at Millville FPA. Like his page on Facebook. That's the Millville Fine and Performing Arts on Facebook. And then if you want to email, as he said, henry.hartman@millvillenj.gov. Henry, thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
The Millville United podcast is a weekly podcast hosted by Dr. Spike Cook, sharing stories, ideas, and information about the Millville Public School District in southern New Jersey. For more information or to connect with us, follow the hashtag MPSWC and like Millville Public Schools on Facebook. And when I grow up.